Hi, I'm Cheri Thompson with Vineyard Coaching. And Carla, Ivy, and I have started Vineyard Coaching because we want to help you. And what we're teaching is what we are still learning and what we learned in coach training. And it so has impacted our lives that we decided we want to share it. So today we're talking about processing emotions. Now, we've talked about how important thoughts are, but now we need to talk about our emotions. So the emotions drive us in everything we do. It's the fuel that makes us run. Most adults function in what is called emotional childhood. And what I mean is they often, and I've done this, but we blame others. Um, we blame others for what's happening to us, or we blame our circumstances, or we always have a reason, and that's why we feel the way we do. We emotional people in childhood, when they're childhood, um, are dependent on external things to make them happy. Um, they feel they have an entitlement to be happy, and when they don't get what they want, then they're going to blame someone else or circumstances, or they're going to shame themselves. And I've done that too. It's like, oh, why didn't I do this? Why didn't I do better? I mean, you just put the shame on you, and it just brings such guilt. But that doesn't help. That doesn't help. Um, Other times, we just don't even process an emotion, we don't even acknowledge it, and we just seek pleasure. Now, adults that function in emotional adulthood, they take full responsibility for what's going on. They take ownership for what they're creating. They accept that life is both positive and negative. We're going to have good things happen to us, but there's bad things that happen to all people. They practice delayed gratification, and they practice sitting with negative emotions, knowing that the emotions can't harm them. They're just part of life. But with these emotions, we have to learn to process them. We can't blame circumstances. We can't blame other people. We can't blame our parents. We can't shame ourselves. We have to have compassion on ourselves. Healthy processing is in the middle of the two. We're not going to blame others, but we're not going to shame ourselves. It's in the middle. There's a balance. And we're not going to numb them. We're going to actually feel them. We're going to process them. And we're going to acknowledge that we sometimes don't feel good. I don't mean feel good physically. I mean we get depressed, we get sad, we get angry, we get jealous. All these emotions, things that we go into unforgiveness. I mean, all kinds of feelings. And a Christian, I used to think, well, all things work together for God, for good because of God, which is true. But on the other hand, that doesn't mean we just ignore our emotion. And I can honestly say this is one of the most powerful lessons that has affected my life, is when I learned to process emotions, to sit with the emotion. When I feel sad or I feel hurt, betrayed, what am I going to do with that? Am I going to stuff it like maybe I've done in the past? No, because the path to your dreams require that you process negative emotions. When we're in a negative emotion, we can't think about our thoughts, process those, because we always say your thoughts can cause emotions, but on the other hand, your emotions, we can't deal with where they came from, the thought we have, until we first sit with them. So 4 things I think you need to do. First, be willing. Open up and be willing to feel the emotion. Take time and think, what am I feeling? Can I name it? Can you put a hand on it? Like sometimes when you're angry, it's just in your stomach. Put a hand on it. or maybe you've been hurt and your heart just hurts. Just sit with it and then think, what can I learn from this emotion? Number 2, pay attention to what it's doing. What's it doing in your body? Does it have a color? I mean, these things sound crazy, but honestly, it's true. Now that I've learned to process emotions, I'm telling you, feelings can be felt. They can be huge. They can be small. You can even feel like a color, like someone says, I see red. Or when you're in joy, sometimes you may say, oh, everything's just golden. You know, take time, pay attention to what is this emotion doing in your body. Then process it physically. And what I mean is, your emotion is the language of your body, and thoughts are the process of the mind. So your body has generated the emotions, so we need to process it in our body. So there's so many ways we can process it. Of course, if you're sad, we'll usually process it by what? Crying, usually. So many ways we can process emotions. We need to do it in our body so we can walk. You're mad at someone, so get out and walk. Get on your exercise bike. Paint. Maybe you're a painter. Work with clay. I mean, whatever it is you like to do. Read. Take a bath. I have a hot tub. I love to get in my hot tub. That just, it relaxes me. Journal. Dance. I mean, there's so many ways you physically meditate, read scriptures, do, whatever. Make that emotion go through your body. So, you can also talk to an emotion. I think Carla did such a great job when she talked about, I think it was fear, and she told fear, okay, I feel you, I see you, because, we want to say, I see you, but you're not going to control me. I forgot what she was said about, because I've heard it so many ways, but you're going to get in the back seat. You're not going to be able to play the radio. You can come with me. I'm trying to write a book and the fear is there, and I just have to acknowledge it and say, okay, I know you're here. I know this is part of trying to do something, but you're not going to control me. So that's what we're talking about. Whatever fear that you find comes up in your life a lot, find a way to talk to it and to figure out how you can acknowledge it, feel it, and then just say, okay, you're going to be with me. You're going to be with me, but you're not controlling me. Powerful. It was so powerful for me. I hope it's powerful for you. Now, the last thing, and this is harder, but it just takes practice in processing your emotions, is recreate this feeling when you're not feeling it. So, for instance, I don't like to fly. I mean, I just have done it so much of my life now. There's other reasons I don't like to fly, the inconvenience of getting there early, all these things. But also physically, when I'm in that airplane, I feel almost claustrophobic. And then if we ever hit turbulence, the fear comes. So, but I have to do it. So I didn't let that control me. So I can just, when I'm not in an airplane, just say, okay, fear, I know you're there when I'm in an airplane, but we know it's safe. We know turbulence doesn't mean anything except you're going through pockets of air. Just like when I'm in an automobile and I go over speed bumps or do you know what a speed bump is? That's an African thing. Silent police, whatever they call them here in America. By the way, I was in Africa for 37 years as a missionary, so that's why sometimes my terms come out different. But anyway, I could practice feeling the fear. Not feeling it, but just thinking about it. Okay, fear, I know when I get up there and if there's a bump, my heart's going to start racing. Well, I'm not going to let it control me. I'm not going to let it get me into a panic. I've learned things. I'm going to deep breathe. You can do that when you're feeling things you need to process. Deep breathing is a good thing I didn't mention. I'm going to deep breathe. I'm going to do things, think about something beautiful, but I'm not going to let fear stop me from traveling. I never did, and I won't. So, what is your fear? What other emotions do you sometimes just deal with a lot? So, practice them when you're feeling good, because we are going to have emotions, and they're healthy. They're telling us something. That's another thing. What is this emotion teaching me? Be curious. That's another way to process. Now, on the other hand, there is the idea of buffering. And boy, did I used to buffer. It's the way we avoid feeling our feeling. So we're down, and what do? We're sad. We just got bad news. So we go to the refrigerator, get something out, get some ice cream. Maybe we turn on the TV, start watching a movie. Maybe we get our phone and just start scrolling. Anything just to ignore that emotion. And that's called buffering. And you know what? We're not talking about buffering today. I think I've gone long enough. But please follow some of these suggestions. Don't ignore your emotions. Process them. And this will help you so much so that you can say, I am an adult. I am mature. I am processing emotions. I don't blame. I don't shame myself. I know things are going to be good, but sometimes things are bad, and I can deal with it by the grace of God. All right, God bless you, and we'll see you at the next teaching.